So hi everyone, my name is Karen Hernandez. I'm a high school math teacher. I'm also a Desmos Fellow. I had the opportunity this past summer for cohort 4. I teach at Shadow Hills High School. If you've ever heard of Coachella Fest or if you've ever heard of Stagecoach, that's the city that my high school is at. So go Knights. You can find me on Twitter at Karen Rabadan, or if you have an Instagram account, you can also find me there at Mathis Functional. Or if you'd like to reach me, you can reach me through email. This is my personal email that I use for the conferences that I present or any PD that I do for teachers, colleagues, or anything. So feel free to reach me at that. A couple of things about me and my background. I've been in education for 8 years now. My first 2 years were at the middle school level, and the past 6 years have been at the high school level. So currently here at Shadow Hills High School, I teach integrated math 1 to freshmen, integrated math 2 to sophomores, and an accelerated honors course for freshmen. Also, I come from a district that is 1-to-1, so that was kind of beneficial when this whole pandemic was taking place and not knowing if we were going to have the school closures or not. But it definitely gave us an opportunity to move forward with it. So let's get started. And I'm not gonna lie, I am a little nervous. So I'm gonna talk about the ups and downs, what I used, and how I made it work. So 3 apps were essential for me. We have ScreenStream, Metamoji, and MyVideo. Now earlier you heard from Tina Kelly, and she talked about how she used the iOS system, the iPad and Mac, and how to do the mirroring. So I'll be talking about Androids. Our 1-to-1 is Chromebook to all students, and our Samsung tablets for teachers. So I first started with ScreenStream, and what this does for us, I recorded a little video for us so we can see. So through ScreenStream, it's a free app, first of all. All the apps that I'm talking about are free, and you can download them. So what it does is basically it downloads onto your app. It's right here. And it allows you to mirror your tablet onto your computer screen through an IP address. That simple. So that's one of the things that was very important for me. Now, I already had experience with this because I also have 3 LFDs in my classroom. And so this was essential to moving around in the classroom so I didn't have to be restricted to a desk. So this was something that was easy to transition over onto working from home as an educator. The next app I use, it's called Metamoji. Now, I don't know if this app can be used on an iPad. I haven't tried that, but if not, I'm pretty sure that it does work. And if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure there's other apps that allow you to do the same thing. So with Metamoji, I used it all year. It's basically like a spiral notebook in your tablet. You can highlight, you can write, you can crop, you can cut and paste, you can take pictures, you can add pictures, you can change about anything on here. And the best thing about this app was that I can convert all of my notes into a PDF file, upload it onto Google Drive, and voila, that was it. So for students who were absent, all I had to do is share it on Google Drive, post it on Google Classroom, and that kind of helped disappear the problem of, well, I was absent, do you have the notes? Done, it's already on Google Classroom. So this for me was crucial, finding an app that allowed me to convert all of my notes into a PDF for students to have when they need them, or even just to follow along. Now, the next app I used was is called MyVideo Recorder. So this one, it took me some time to find it. It's also, again, free. All of the ones I'm talking about are free. So this specific app allows me to record my screen. So the videos that you are currently seeing on here are recorded through this app. And it allows you to have about 3 hours. But once you create your videos, you can upload them to Google Drive, so you can place them onto Google Classroom. And then once you're done, you can just delete the video and create more space for more videos that you want to create. And it could go from landscape to portrait mode. It gives you all the details. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. So from here, A tablet and a laptop was essential while I was doing all of this and putting it together. So how did it all come together? I needed a class website. I used Desmos, I used Google Classroom, and I used Zoom. So for the class website, what I did was I went into teacher mode and I started creating all of the videos. So I created the videos, I placed them on my class website, and this is where students were able to find all of their work. It was, think of it as an all-in-one concept. It was easy to follow. You had watch and take notes. You had practice problems, then you had your formative assessment, and then you had your self-reflection. The self-reflection allowed me to focus on students who needed a little bit more help so that I can target specifically my teaching when I was doing the Zoom sessions. Now, all of these videos are linked into the presentation itself, so you guys can have access to it as well. So moving on, with Desmos, the feature that I loved the most was one that was released during this pandemic, which was being able to give feedback to students. That was amazing. So if you've tried it, great. If you haven't, I encourage you to go try that feature because it's perfect. You're able to talk to your students and give them feedback as to how to move forward. I use Zoom for my Zoom sessions, and then in Google Classroom, I made sure to upload everything and anything that was essential for them in order to be able to communicate and track with me. So moving on, my ups and downs. So the positives, 3 great positives: self-paced. When you think about your students and the pace that we go in the classroom, although we try not to really use a general rule where everyone learns at the same pace, we have students who do take a little longer and need a little bit more time to process the information. And sometimes that's not necessarily the case in the classroom. So for students to be able to watch the videos that were created, pause, rewind, fast forward, and jot down notes, figure out the point of confusion, that was crucial. So that to me was a great positive, and it was also something that the students gave feedback on. We love that we can do this and not have to feel the stress of the classroom and trying to be at everyone's level. The positive was the all-in-one concept. I really hadn't used the class website that much. And then once this whole situation happened, I placed everything on there. I kind of started thinking more of the flipped learning effect, where they do the learning online through taking the notes and practice. And then when they come together through the Zoom sessions and the breakout rooms, I was truly able to target the instructions. Students were able to tell me, Ms. Hernandez, my point of confusion is in this video for this lesson. How did you do that? I need more help. And I was able to target my teaching, being able for students to take ownership, for students to be self-advocates and proactive about their learning because they didn't have all the pressures of the classroom. It really helped me drive home how to help my students succeed. Now, with the ups, there was also some challenges. And the 3 biggest challenges that I've discussed with my colleagues and that I've heard from other educators as well, the number 1 was student motivation. How do you keep your students engaged when you don't have the environment that you have in the classroom? So that was one of the challenges through this transition, and anything and everything helps. So just collaborating with educators and seeing what's out there is definitely something we can work on. The second one that really was hard for me was measuring growth via summative assessment. So with students doing all the work at home, how do you truly assess if the students have mastered the material? And so we're used to the paper pencil or maybe a Google form, but how do you truly know that it's individual to that student, that that student has showed you mastery? So it kind of triggered something in me and really looking at differentiating in their summative assessments, giving them something where they build a portfolio or they build a project or they do something that is individually centered around them and their learning so we can measure the growth. So these were all ideas that happened after the fact, but definitely something that I thought and saw as a challenge. And the biggest one of all, the social emotional connection. It's hard to think that we want to replicate that connection that we have with students in the classroom and then bringing it over to online. That's just not possible. So that was a big challenge because a lot of our students, when we think about them, it's really that social emotional connection that you have between student to student, student to teacher. So that's definitely been a challenge, and I'm definitely wanting to learn and grow from that. And last but not least, here we go. So what I wish I remembered. I wish I integrated Edulastic at the beginning of my lesson planning instead of trying to fit it around my lessons and trying to modify it. When I thought of all the features, the dashboard, tracking students' work, resetting problems and reassigning it to them, and being able to track their growth, if I would have thought of that at the beginning of my lesson planning days, it would have been so much easier through this transition. So it became a little harder. My recommendation, as you're planning for this fall, try to implement already Edulastic around your lesson planning. How would it look like? What is your purpose for using it? Is it a review? Is it a prior knowledge check before you launch the concept? What is your purpose? And integrate it at the beginning. And then last but not least, it's a learning and adjustment process for all of us. We're not perfect, and it was very hard for me trying to be perfect, give the perfect lesson to my students. And I had to constantly reflect and check myself and say, hey, you're not an expert. This is new. Everyone's on the same boat with you. So you're growing and learning, and the students are too. This is a different environment for them, something they're not used to. So just keeping that in mind as we go through this during the summer, as we prepare for the fall, I think is going to be great as we move forward.